really cool food in the kitchen this morning, courtesy of Lucy Greer.
Yeah, pizza. Okay, so we all love pizza. I think it's safe to say, and I always say, it's good for us because we're getting all the food groups in, right? A little wishful thinking, but truly, you know, you have your carbs over here because you have your bread, thin crust. I always get thin crust because I feel like I'm doing a little something healthier.
Yeah.
Then you have your veggies, and then you have your proteins. We're using some chicken today. This is actually kind of a healthy pizza, Lucy.
Yeah, it really is. With the kids being out of school, like I was mentioning before, it's a good time to get them in the kitchen. You have a little bit more time, no homework. So what we are going to do today is a little bit of a healthier pizza.
Chicken, veggies, I like it.
Yeah, and not too much cheese. So I thought we could get started on our sauce first. It's so simple to make a marinara sauce. And of course you can buy something in the jar, but when it's just a couple ingredients and you know exactly what's going in it, then you can feel a little bit better about feeding it to your family. So I'm just going to start out with a couple of teaspoons of olive oil over a little bit of medium heat, and we'll let that garlic cook for about a minute, and then we'll add our tomatoes. So in the meantime, we'll get started on our chicken. I'm going to use some chicken tenders today, which are of course fast cooking. When you are in the kitchen, kids lose a little bit of attention pretty quickly. So you don't want to do something that's going to take forever. So we're going to get our chicken tenders marinating, and they're going to just marinate while you get the crust together, while you get the sauce together, so not too long. So I started with a couple tablespoons of olive oil, a couple teaspoons of some dried oregano, some salt and pepper, and if you wouldn't mind adding the tomatoes over to that sauce while I zest this lemon. I'm going to do the zest of a lemon in the chicken tender marinade to give it a little bit of flavor. And Cherish just added 1 can of diced tomatoes, and she's also going to add a can of crushed tomatoes. Those diced tomatoes are going to give the sauce a little bit of a texture, but if you do have some picky children that don't like tomatoes, you may just want to use 2 cans of crushed tomatoes, which will be completely fine. And then also, Cherish, we have for that sauce a bay leaf, some salt and pepper, and a little bit more of that dried oregano.
Okay. And this is a great way to get kids to eat their veggies. Put it on pizza.
It really is. And we're going to use a couple tricks with the veggies too. If your kids don't like vegetables, a good trick is to slice them up kind of thin or small, like we're going to do with the mushrooms. So what I'm doing now is adding this lemon, and actually it's just a marinade, so if some seeds get in there, it is fine. So once we mix this up, this lemon juice is going to help tenderize these tenders. I mean, of course, chicken tenders are already tender, but we're going to saute them, and you want things to stay juicy. So now we're just going to add these tenders. It's just a pound, and like I said, we're just going to let this marinate on the counter while our sauce cooks. And I have already cooked the crust. I just used a rollout crust, and I cut it into 6 portions, so that way kids have their own little pizza. Of course, you can make a crust or buy, you know, the little round ones, but when you're feeding kids these days, of course, childhood obesity is so high. So a trick is to portion out what they're going to get instead of having a whole pizza and let them, you know, take as many pieces as they want. You know, here's your portion.
Great idea. And although the crust is already made this morning, Lucy has been nice enough to give us the recipe, and you'll find that, as well as the recipe for the entire single-serving pizzas on fox10tv.com on our Studio 10 page. And good news, Lucy always has great recipes, and she's going to be joining us every Wednesday here in our kitchen on Studio 10. So lots of good stuff for you, your kids. Kids going to be home this summer, and this is great. This is kind of a good example of how you can cook with your kids in the kitchen. Mom, dad, grandparents can do this part. Kids can, I get the easy part. I'm going to play the kid. Kids can stir the sauce. And meanwhile, Lucy, you have this on medium, low heat. Do you need to continuously stir, or is it fine to leave it?
We're going to bring it up to just a soft boil, just so it bubbles, and then put the heat on medium low and let it simmer for just about 20 minutes, and it'll be done and ready to go on our pizza.
Do you need to cover or leave it uncovered?
Leave it uncovered. It's completely fine.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to do this for just a little bit. Again, recipe is on our website. We're going to let this keep simmering, and I guess we're going to cook the chicken in just a few minutes.
Yeah, we are. When we come back, we'll cook the chicken, saute some fresh spinach, and then we'll be able to put everything together.
All right, we'll hear more about Greer's catering. Lots of good stuff going on at Greer's, and we'll tell you all about it.
Lucy Greer in the Studio 10 kitchen. That means good times and great food always. She's going to be here every Wednesday. We are so excited about that because we get to cook some stuff and talk about Greer. Speaking of which, what's the latest with Greer's? What y'all got going on?
Well, we have a lot going on this summer, of course. We have a lot of stores that are on the way to the beach or on the way to Dauphin Island. I know there's a lot going on at Dauphin Island.
You certainly do.
Check out our stores. Everything you need, chips, Cokes, meat, anything that you need, we'll have it.
When you're heading out to the beach, you want to stop on by, get your stuff, and also lots of deals. You got your new Cash Savers stores all around town as well. So many things going on. We want to get back to what's going on in the kitchen, which is this personal chicken pizzas you're working on today.
Yes, we have already made our quick marinara sauce, which was just a little bit of olive oil, garlic, crushed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, and a couple seasonings. So we just let that simmer for 15-20 minutes, and that'll be ready to go on our pizza. And we also marinated some chicken tenders. I put in here the zest and juice of a lemon and also a little bit of olive oil, some oregano, and salt and pepper. And this will just stay on the counter while you put together your sauce and you cook your crust. So now we're just going to saute this. I have a skillet here with, I just sprayed a little bit of nonstick spray. And we're just going to cook these. It only takes about 5 minutes on each side. And the reason that we marinated this chicken is to give our pizza a lot of flavor. As you can see, we're using a lot of vegetables and this lean chicken on our pizza. Everybody loves pepperoni and sausage and, you know, some different things like that. But when you're in the summertime and when there's so much going on, you know, you want to be a little bit lean, a little bit healthy, especially for your kids. So this chicken is going to cook pretty quickly.
What I like about this chicken recipe too is the chicken smells and looks so good. You could just do this just by itself if you wanted to.
Definitely. This is a great quick marinade for any night of the week. And the other things that we're going to put on the pizza are fresh spinach. After this chicken comes out, we're just going to wilt the spinach down in the same pan. No need to dirty up another pan. And then the flavors from the chicken are going to flavor our spinach, so we don't have to add something else or more fat. It's, you know, we're just going to use what's in the pan. We're also going to use some fresh mushrooms, and I told Cherish a little trick, especially with mushrooms. What I did was I took the whole mushrooms and sliced them thin, because when you're dealing with kids, you know, the bigger something is, the easier it is for them to pick off. So, and we're going to kind of hide this when we do our pizza. We're going to layer it right on top of the chicken, and then the spinach that we're going to put on top is going to soften up the mushrooms. We're also going to use some roasted red peppers, which those are a great flavor. They're sweet, and the kids should really like those. And then instead of using a bunch of cheddar cheese or a bunch of cheese at all, we're going to use our 5-cheese blend, which of course has low-fat mozzarella and some Parmesan, things that give it more flavor without having to add a bunch of cheese. And we're not going to use too much on there. So,
all in one bag, and they can get the job done for you.
And that's it. You know, when you're in the kitchen, like I told Cherish, kids are going to lose a little bit of focus pretty quickly. So you kind of want to have things that'll move pretty quickly.
Sure.
So this chicken, let's see if we have any color on it yet.
Well, I tell you what, you keep working on that. We'll check back in with you to finish up the whole shebang when we come back in just a little while. But that chicken really does smell great in here, guys.
It is smelling so good in our Studio 10 kitchen this morning. Pizza, it's good any time of the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, doesn't matter. Lucy Greer from Greer's Market and Catering is here making some personal chicken pizzas. This is great. Kids are out this summer. They're looking for something to eat. Personal pizza, Lucy, you were saying earlier, is great because it's easy to get a pizza and then you tend to get a bunch of pieces. But this way, you have one. You don't get a bunch.
Pre-portioned is good for any age, you know, especially for those people that are trying to watch what they eat, you know, kind of psychologically. This is my portion, and it's a little bit easier not to go back for more, which I'm guilty of.
Oh, totally. All of us. And this is a healthier pizza you're making this morning.
It is.
Because you have the veggies on it. You have some spinach. You have mushrooms, tomatoes. I say you have all the food groups. You have your dairy, your cheese. You're making some chicken. You've made some chicken you're putting on.
Yeah, and this really flavorful when you're eating a little bit healthier, even if it's pizza. You want to put all the flavor in that you can. So remember earlier you helped me make our quick marinara sauce.
Yes, something your kids can help with.
Definitely. We had crushed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, a bay leaf, a little bit of garlic, and we let that simmer for about 20 minutes and it's done. So I just put that on our crust. I rolled out a crust that I got out of the dairy department. Of course, you can use any crust you want. And I went ahead and cut it and put it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 8 minutes. Got it nice and brown. Then we put our sauce on, and remember we did a quick marinade on our chicken tenders. I used a pound of chicken tenders, and we used the zest and juice of a lemon, some olive oil, some oregano, and some garlic. And so now I'll just start layering this on here.
Now, as you're doing that, of course, we've been talking about kids. Kids love pizza. Something I found on your website this morning that's really cute for the kids. Kids also love coloring.
Yeah.
You guys do these neat little coloring contests, and these are just a couple of the things that your kids can color. If we can get a shot of these. A little beach ball, little beach theme. But you go on to the Greer's Market website, and there are a lot to choose from. Kids can color them while mom and dad shops. You guys have little places in Greer's Markets where they can color, or they can take them home, color, and it's a contest.
It is, and it's fun. Like you said, we have in all of our stores, all of our markets and cash savers, wherever you go, we'll have a little spot in there, table, color, crayons, and those sheets in store too. And then turn them in, and they'll hang it up in whatever store that you turn it into, and then periodically, like when a holiday comes, like this summer, we'll pick a winner, and they'll get a little treat. So something just for kids, and it helps mom and dad too, you know. I don't have children, but I've heard when you take them to the grocery store, they're all over the place, you know, trying to put stuff in the buggy.
Cereal, candy bars.
Yeah. So, you know, especially in your neighborhood stores, all of our stores are in pretty small communities, you know, without the exception of Mobile. So you kind of know everybody in there, and we keep an eye on them for you.
Love that.
So as you can see, we layered up. What I did, I put the chicken down first, and then I put the mushrooms. And then I put those down first because I want the spinach and the red peppers to release their moisture onto those and soften them up a little bit.
And that's the pizza.
Yeah.
There
and then,
it is.
Look, that's not a lot of cheese.
Exactly. Recipes online. Lucy, always great to have you. Looks good. Can't wait to eat it.